Hello everyone, thanks again for tuning in. We'll continue our study on law in Greece. Um, Again, we understand that the law, one of the purposes of the law was to bring us to the knowledge of sin. And I'm saying today that one of the purposes of the conscience was to bring forth the knowledge of sin. Because the Jews, in their attempt to keep the law, um, they should have came to a point where they could see that they couldn't keep the law. Once that knowledge was brought to their attention that they couldn't keep the law, then God raised up prophets to tell them about the coming Messiah, and for them to keep their faith in the coming of the Messiah, and to keep their faith and in the promises that the law would bring through their attempts to keep it. So the Jews are saved out of faith, out of the law. They were able to get saved out of the law because God was going to attach the prophets speaking plus the law as one book. So what am I saying? I'm simply saying that the law was supposed to bring forth right to our face the knowledge of sin. And likewise, one of the purposes of the conscience was to bring forth the knowledge of the evil. And that's why people will have a guilty conscience. Now, in the Old Testament, God made a way for them to be forgiven of their sins. And that was through the sacrifices of the Lamb. But just think about the people back then who lived by their conscience, and they realized that they did something against their conscience, and now they have this guilty feeling. Just think about a person who really means well, but they committed this murder, or this they stole, and they have a guilty feeling. Just think about a person back then who cried out to God to get rid of this guilty conscience. It will be through their faith that there is a God that will draw Jehovah God to them. And this is what Paul is saying in verse 30 of Romans. Turn with me to Romans chapter 3, verse 28 through 30. Let's read that. It says, "For we account that a man is justified by faith apart from the works of the law." So we can say that a person is justified out of faith apart from the works of the conscience. Verse 29 says, "Or is he the God of the Jews only? Is he not of the Gentiles also? Yes, of the Gentiles also. If indeed God is one, who will justify the circumcision out of faith, and the uncircumcision through faith." Paul said that the Jews will be saved out of faith, and that the Gentiles will be saved through faith. So he's making a distinction here. And what he's simply saying is that in Israel's attempt to keep the law and come into the knowledge of their sin, they will look forward to the writings of the prophet, the coming Messiah. So they will be saved out of the law, out of faith. And this is one of the things the schoolmaster, the law, would teach him. But the people who had no knowledge of the Ten Commandments back then, but also today, through their conscience comes the knowledge of their sin as well. And through that, they will be saved through their faith in what the Messiah who's already come. They will be saved through faith in what the Messiah has already done. So I hope that this has bless you to understand that God had used the conscience as well as the law to lead men to Christ. And so that's why Jesus can say that no one comes to the Father except by him. People may not have heard of Christ, but they would need to be washed by the blood of Christ, either by their attempt to keep the law and kept the faith, or by their living a life obedient to their conscience and drawing God closer, and God revealing of the coming Messiah as well. They look forward to the coming Messiah. We look back. God bless.